Listening to problem solving.
Excuse me, are we stopping at the art museum next? For an hour?
Yes, it has a wonderful collection of 18th century furniture. I think you'll find it very interesting.
Yes, I think you're right, which is why I wanted to ask if we could stay longer. I doubt an hour will be enough time.
I'm afraid we're on a tight schedule. If we stay longer, we won't be able to get to the rest of our stops.
But couldn't I stay longer? I don't mind missing the next stop. I really don't like wine. Not really into tasting and drinking. Perhaps you can come back and get me.
Sorry, I'm afraid we can't do that either. If I approve such a thing for you, everyone will want to be staying longer here and there. Question 1.
Why does the man approach the woman?
Question 2.
What exhibit is at the museum?
Question 3.
What is true of the bus tour?
Now listen to part 2.
Is everyone ready for lunch? We'll be stopping at a popular vegetarian restaurant shortly.
Couldn't we stop somewhere else instead? I'm not sure I like vegetarian food. Maybe we could go to a place that sells burgers and fries?
I'm afraid we've already booked a restaurant. With a group this size, it's hard to find enough tables at the last minute. We also want quick service since we're on a schedule.
Yes, but we haven't paid yet. There are probably other restaurants nearby. Couldn't we all just go where we want and meet back at the bus at, say, 1 o'clock?
I'd rather the group stay together, sir. If anyone gets lost or into some kind of trouble...
I'm sure we can manage. We're all adults here.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to imply that you couldn't manage on your own. But accidents can happen, and I'd like to be able to provide help in that case. Question 4.
Why does the man want to change the lunch plan?
Question 5.
What is likely the reason for the woman's response?
Now listen to part 3.
Excuse me, could we go back? I forgot my umbrella at the restaurant.
Oh dear, it's quite a way back. We wouldn't be able to keep to our schedule.
But it is looking like rain, and I'd really like to have my umbrella.
The rest of our stops are indoors, and I'd be happy to lend you my umbrella, sir.
But I'd really like to go back and get my own umbrella. It's an expensive one.
What I'll do right now is call the restaurant and ask them to keep it safe until you can go back on your own. Would that be okay? Or perhaps they'll send it to you if you give them your address.
That's a great idea. Thank you. I'll be able to pick it up after the tour. I suppose I can use my raincoat in the meantime.
Question 6.
What is likely true about the man?
Question 7.
How does the woman help the man?
Question 8.
What is the man's reaction to the woman's response?
Listening to a daily life conversation.
Good afternoon, Janice. Thank you for coming. I'm Ms. Rivera.
Nice to meet you, Ms. Rivera.
So, I see you're interested in the teacher's assistant job.
Yes, I'm applying to be a teacher's assistant.
Okay, Janice. I'd like to ask you a few questions. First of all, could you tell me a little about your background?
Well, you can see from my application that I have a degree in education from my country.
Uh-huh.
I have been living in this country for 2 years.
Uh-huh. And are you currently employed?
No, I'm not. I'm a student.
Oh.
I'm taking English classes at the community college.
Oh.
I've been studying English since I arrived in this country.
Oh. That's excellent, Janice. Now, can you tell me some of your strengths?
Well, I'm reliable. I'm always on time. And I get along with people, especially children.
That's important in this job. And I think you have another strength, too.
Really?
Yeah, you speak 2 languages, Spanish and English. That's a very important strength in our schools.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's been nice to meet you, Janice. I'll get back to you in a few days.
Thank you, Ms. Rivera. It was very nice to meet you, too.
Question 1.
Where is this conversation taking place?
Question 2.
What is the relationship between the 2 speakers?
Question 3.
What skills does Janice say that she has?
Question 4.
What skill does Mrs. Rivera say that Janice has?
Question 5.
What does Janice currently do?
Listening for information. You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hi, welcome to Music and More. Can I help you?
Hi, yes. I'm looking for either a guitar or a drum set. It's for my son, for his birthday. He's always wanted either of those two instruments. Could you tell me a little bit about both?
Has your son played either instrument before?
Well, he had a toy drum set when he was 5 and loved it so much that he broke it. He's 13 now. His friends all play guitar and sometimes he tries playing on their guitars, but he's never taken lessons. I'd prefer if he played the guitar. I think drums would be too noisy. Our house has very poor sound insulation.
Well, we have options that will make both you and your son happy. We sell regular drum sets, but if soundproofing is a concern, we do sell electronic drums that you can plug headphones into so that you won't hear a thing.
Wow, that certainly would be nice. What about guitars?
You could get a classical acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. For a beginner, I'd recommend a classical acoustic with nylon strings. Nylon strings are softer on the fingers and are much easier to learn on.
All his friends have electric guitars, so he'd probably want an electric one too.
The good thing about the electric guitar is that, like electronic drums, he can plug headphones in and you won't hear him practice. However, electric guitars have steel strings. They can be quite painful on the fingers for beginners, and he may get frustrated and give up quickly.
I see. Well, there's quite a few options. Which is the most affordable?
An electronic drum set would set you back the most. They start at around $700. A beginner electric guitar would be a lot cheaper, and a regular acoustic guitar would be the cheapest. We have some nice quality ones that are on sale right now.
I think an electric guitar might be the way to go. I know it has steel strings, but I think he'd get used to it. Can you show me some?
Certainly. We have a great variety of styles. Please follow me.
Question 1.
What musical experience does the woman's son have?
Question 2.
Why does the woman want to buy her son a musical instrument?
Question 3.
What was the man trying to do?
Question 4.
What solution does the man offer for the drums?
Question 5.
Why does the man say the acoustic guitar might be better?
Question 6.
Why does the woman think her son will prefer the electric guitar? Listening to a news item.
Let me tell you about an experiment that didn't turn out quite like the researcher had expected. Dr. Sue Samage Rumbo had been trying to train a chimpanzee to use a keyboard adapted with symbols, but no luck. What is interesting about the experiment is that the chimpanzee's adopted son, Kanzi, also a bonobo chimpanzee, Kanzi had been observing the lessons and had acquired a rather impressive vocabulary. After that, Kanzi was not given structured training, but he was taught language while walking through the forest or in other informal settings with his trainers. By 6 years of age, Kanzi had acquired a vocabulary of more than 200 words and was able to form sentences by combining words with gestures or with other words. So the question is this: should we proceed by trying to teach language to primates in a classroom environment? Or should we simply live with them and interact informally like we do with beginning learners of language in our own species? I tend to side with those who elect to support language acquisition in natural settings.
Listening to a news item. During a press conference on Friday, Mayor Billy Barnes announced that the city would be paying the owners of the Bosworth BC Tigers hockey team $4 million to end their contract with the city of Bosworth. The 10-year contract was originally signed in 2010, and the $4 million figure was an agreed-upon penalty the city would pay if they broke the contract. The mayor acknowledged that the city had been losing money for years due to low attendance at Bosworth Arena. He reminded the small crowd gathered that it was his predecessor, Michael Matoli, who initially signed the contract with the team. Barnes said he believed Matoli made a mistake, but did not blame him. The fact is, we should have realized that a city of our size, with a population less than 80,000, is simply not capable of filling an 8,000-seat arena for 30 games per season, Barnes said. The team's owners could not be reached for comment, but anonymous reports suggest that the team is considering relocating to Lucan City, Ontario, which has a population of 200,000.
Listening to a discussion.
Okay, I've been getting emails that you two are refusing to help students with their writing assignments. Now, it's my understanding, and I thought that you two understood this as well, that that is exactly what your job is. You are the writing skills tutors.
Yes, but it's the end of the year, and students are coming to us for help with the end-of-year assignments worth half their grade. We both think it's cheating, and...
Cheating? How so?
Well, by the time we're through with their essay, we've turned a D essay into a B essay. We've done that with our comments, our suggestions, our corrections, our questions.
Getting that level of help with a major year-end essay, it isn't fair to the students that have done the work on their own.
Isn't there some way you can, I don't know, lead the students to make the improvements themselves? Show them what to do without doing it for them?
Normally, yes, but it's March, and the students that are coming to our door now for the first time, they're not interested in doing the work themselves. They come in, throw their rough notes on the desk, and expect us to do the rest of the work.
We make suggestions and demonstrate how to use them, but the students just pretend to listen. They didn't come here to learn. They came here for free editing.
So, how do you help? What did we hire you for?
Well, the way I see it is that we're here to help the students with their homework, the day-to-day assignments. And those students that have gotten help with the practice work are then prepared to do the graded assignments on their own. The others, I assume they don't even do their homework. Like Clara said, they're just here to get their corrections done for free.
What if you helped them with the final assignments only with the teacher's authorization? That way the instructor would know which essays had had the benefit of your help and which ones the students had done on their own. And they can take that into account when they're doing the grading.
I don't know. I guess we could try. As long as the teachers know that what they're grading is partly our work, I guess that would be fair. But I'm telling you, as soon as word gets out that we're willing to help with final essays, you're going to have to hire another half-dozen writing skills tutors.
At least. Listening for information. You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey, Rosanna, over here.
Hi, Mike. How are you? Been waiting long?
No, not at all. Have a seat.
Oh, it's great to see you.
Same here. So, how's the new apartment working out?
Good. I like it. The neighborhood, though, is...
Oh? What's the matter?
Well, there's a real graffiti problem. Some of the buildings down the street are covered with it, and it looks terrible.
I know what you mean. My neighborhood is the same way. I think we need to report people who are writing the graffiti to the police.
Yeah, that would really help, except I never see them doing it.
Well, other than that, how's the new neighborhood?
Well, I like all the stores. It's convenient for shopping, and it's pretty quiet at night. That's definitely a plus.
Sounds like you're pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I guess so. The only other problem is that it's impossible to find parking. I have to drive around the block 6 or 7 times to find a space. Usually I can find one, but sometimes I have to park really far away.
Is there any way you can rent space in a garage?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm thinking about doing just that. So, how are things in your neck of the woods?
Well, there's a bit of a noise problem where I live. I live right down the street from a school. The bell rings every morning at 7:30. It's impossible to sleep in.
Oh, what a drag.
Yeah, and when school lets out, the kids are really noisy. I mean, they're nice kids, just loud.
Well, I don't know what you could do about that situation.
Yeah, there's really nothing I can do, I guess. I just have to live with it. I don't know.
Excuse me, are you ready to order?
Could you give us a few more minutes? Thanks. I guess we better look at these menus first and talk later.
Yeah. So, what's good here?
Well, I think the fish is pretty good. I've also tried the turkey club, which isn't bad, and,
Question 1.
Where is this conversation taking place?
Question 2.
What has changed in the woman's life?
Question 3.
What does the woman say about her neighborhood?
Question 4.
What does the man say could solve their problem?
Question 5.
What could solve the woman's parking issue?
Question 6.
What will the man most likely do about his noise issue?
Listening to viewpoints. You will hear a report once.
Back in the 1980s, Roger Wong lived in Surrey, British Columbia, and commuted to work in Vancouver. The journey took him 40 minutes. Over the last 30 years, city planners have been designing and investing in road improvements and transit systems. Now, 30 years later, Roger's son lives in Surrey and commutes to Vancouver just as his father did. The journey by car takes close to an hour. Despite the changes, traffic congestion has not improved. City planners across Canada have been unsuccessfully fighting commuter congestion for decades. Despite wider freeways, computerized management systems, and more transportation corridors, most cities are worse off than they were 3 decades ago. Experience has shown that building more roads simply leads to more traffic. Moreover, most Canadian cities cover a huge area and demand a lot of roads. The cost of developing such an infrastructure in the low-density suburbs of our cities is immense. What can we do to defeat traffic congestion once and for all? The short answer is that we need to get people out of their cars. City planning policies need to consider alternatives to roads. As long as most commuters travel alone in a car, traffic congestion will remain a problem. Change will not be easy. Opposition to changes in city planning policies are overwhelming. In Vancouver, closing down a single lane of a bridge for a bicycle lane met with furious opposition from motorists. Proposals for a gasoline tax to raise funds for public transportation also met with protests from motorists. Curiously, the one form of commuter infrastructure investment that meets with general approval is more road bridges and wider roads, precisely the policies that have consistently failed over the last few decades. In short, we have a society that seems determined to persist with failed policies. There are 4 reasons why this might be the case. First, for most commuters, private vehicles are usually faster than public transportation. Second, there is the problem of getting to the workplace from the train station, which may involve an additional 10-minute walk. Third, fatigue also discourages utilization of our public networks. Few people wish to start and end their day with an hour of standing in cramped conditions. Fourth, grocery shopping or other errands after work might be difficult. It seems that people will continue to rely on private vehicles until this mode of transportation proves less pleasant than the alternatives. City planners, however, continue to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in a road infrastructure that makes the motorist's method of commuting marginally more tolerable than the alternatives.